Hey everybody, it's Joseph. Ba-da-da. It's 3 a.m. here in United Terminal C. I don't know why I got a flight this early. I've had 15 minutes of sleep in the last 24 hours, and I am about to fly into Vegas to meet with Alexander Cimoooooooo and Gage Nyhmnim. And hopefully I'll be conscious by the time I get there. I'm gonna load up on this $5.80 coffee or $7 glass of orange juice. I haven't decided yet. All right, it's about 5:15. I'm much more awake now than I was in the previous video. I just spent about 30 minutes in a Dunkin' Donuts line, and this is not sponsored by Dunkin'. Most of the stuff at Dunkin' is inedible. I will let you in on the best two donuts that Dunkin' makes. Their old fashions are really good, and their French crullers are really good. This is my Dunkin' order. Feel free to steal it, but you do have to give me credit when you talk to the cashier. It gives me enough Dunkin' points to live off their coffee for the rest of my life. Welcome to real. Welcome to fresh. Welcome to Wendy's, New Jersey. So we made it. I now have to go to baggage claim in order to pick up my checked bag. I had brought just a personal item, but after I made a fool of myself trying to jam it into United's personal item checker slot, they made me check part of it. So it's off to that, and then I'm gonna try to convince Cimoooooooo to take an 8 a.m. lunch. Oh, so precious. Well, we're here at the South Hall, and as you can see, there's a huge collective of people who can't get in. Apparently, as soon as you enter the doors, there's a room that's hit fire capacity, and as a result, we're not able to advance past that point, and security is actively keeping us out. They told us at 4 p.m. we'd be able to get in, and 4 p.m. has come and gone. So we'll see if I'll be able to pick up judgments today, or I will be playing my deck woefully unprepared to deal with evenly matched. Talk to you soon. All right, we are preparing for the long night. What are you holding there?
Gang, we got the best sustenance a man can buy. Smucker's Uncrustables. They're against it. I don't know why, but this is the perfect food at an event. You just chow down, and it's gonna make us go X-0.
And in the meantime, we have a fair amount of alcohol.
Yes.
And hopefully over the course of the night, we're gonna divine a playable Orcus deck.
We'll figure it out. My deck is definitely the least functioning out of everybody.
Look at this absolutely unbelievable. It's so
Man,
good.
it shows I haven't won a game all night.
They just missed what happened seconds before when I said that if I reveal Gazelle off of this Foxy normal summon, we're winning, and the first card off the top was Gazelle.
Guess what he did?
This is the second game in a row this has happened. We are en route to... Oh, thank you.
It's actually nice out today.
Oh, it's actually exceptionally nice. To the YCS, and we're all wearing the same, just miserably bad shirt.
Don't call it miserably bad. This is a fit.
It's a fit on you. It's miserably bad on the rest of us.
I don't think fit would be the accurate description of that shirt.
Holy shit. We did a little bit of testing last night. It did not go well, but I'm confident regardless. I think all it's really going to take to win this one is to pull a Weevil and just rip up all copies of Nibiru at the tournament before it starts.
Say goodbye to Nibiru!
But before we get into the vlog, let's take a quick look at the list that propelled me to a pretty miraculous finish. Not much has changed since the last time I looked at the deck, with the notable omission of Sunriser. I'm not going to go too in-depth because you've seen the list several times at this point. If you want a more in-depth primer, check out the Hero Primer on my page. We've got 3 copies of Vision Hero Ferris, followed by, of course, 2 copies of Vision Hero Increase because I fear God, and 2 copies of Vision Hero Vion. Exceptionally normal ratios. After that, we've got 2 copies of Elemental Hero Stratos. This is effectively the worst card in the deck. You've got so many ways to search it, and I didn't want to see more than 2 over the course of a game. I had him at 3 with the 2 split of E-Call, but switched it last minute because I needed Liquid Lad in a lot of my openers. We've got 2 copies of Shadow Mist as well. Drawing it and sending it to the graveyard are both fine, and you'll likely do one of those 2 things over the course of the turn, even with only 2 copies. Finally, rounding out our E-Heroes is 1 Solid Soldier and 1 Liquid Soldier, both of which were miraculous the entire weekend. We've got 1 Honest Neos, which I count as an honest monster and not an E-Hero. After that are the Destiny Heroes, 3 copies of Malicious. Why is this card unlimited? 1 copy of Celestial, 1 copy of Dynatag. Both of these were fantastic. I would go into Celestial to burn in time routinely, and Dynatag, of course, is necessary for turning on Dystopia, and 1 copy of Destiny Hero Plasma. Finally, we have the lone Evil Hero A Dusted Gold. For spells, we're on 3 copies of Fusion Destiny. Shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. 3 copies of Mask Change. I went hard on Mask Change because it dodges impermanence and other hand traps. 3 copies of Emergency Call. Of course, this card is shaved routinely. I decided to shave the Stratos instead. 3 Called by the Grave. I was off this in later versions of the build, but I really like it, and it won me a ton of games. 1 each of A Hero Lives, Reinforcement of the Army, the Searchable Polymerization, and the Searchable Dark Calling. And finally, the Spice, 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. This was the best card in the list. I would not take it out moving forward. If I could play more copies, I would have. Every time I drew it, I won. This deck is really good at making combos off of 3 card openers. The remaining 2 cards are usually either extenders or gas. Replacing one of those 2 combo cards with a Solemn Judgment means that likely you're going to be able to beat the evenly matched that otherwise eat you alive. The extra deck is also pretty self-explanatory. For links, we've got 2 copies of Extra Hero Cross Crusader, 1 copy of Extra Hero Wonder Driver, which I made all the time. I would play under Nibiru with this card, and I routinely did, especially in games 2 and 3, linking into it with a Malicious at points so I could activate Mask Change on my opponent's turn that I had set off of a search from a liquid normal summon. We've got 1 Dread Decimator. For Masked Heroes, we're on 2 Dark Law, 1 Anki, 1 Acid, 1 Dian, and 1 Blast. Dian never came up. I would feel okay cutting it, but none of the others I would cut. Vision Hero Trinity is probably bad. This is also extremely cuttable, but it won me a game. Our very first round, I was up against Lunalite. They made Appaloosa with 4 negates, and I went Polymerization that I hard drew, Trinity, and I won the entire match. Vision Hero Adoration, Destiny Hero Dangerous, necessary for foolish setups, and Destiny Hero Dystopia, a card that you usually end on. Finally, we're on 1 copy of Evil Hero Wallet Decimator. The side deck is 3 copies of Twin Twister, 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 copies of Droll and Lock Bird, 3 copies of Nibiru the Primal Being, and 3 copies of Evenly Matched. Far and away, the best part of the deck was the side deck. This deck has 6 extremely easy slots, which you can board out of. The Called by the Graves and the Solemn Judgments, when you're going second, are super efficient swaps for whatever 2 of these options are the most powerful. This particular board won me a ton of games, and I boarded into every single card over the course of the weekend repeatedly. So that's the list. Now, back to me. All right, so I found a quiet spot. It is in a really crusty corner. We've got just about everything done. We're just waiting on Gage to pick up a Scrap Wyvern, and if he doesn't get it, he'll win just very slightly fewer games than he would otherwise. 1 is greater than 0. Anyway, I'm very excited to be here. A lot of people have come up already. If you came and said hi to me, thank you very much. I always love meeting people. One individual in particular said, because of the Trump rally that was here yesterday, if we beat anyone today, we have to pitch nationalized Yu-Gi-Oh! To them, which I'm 100% behind. It is time for the 99% of rogue deck builders to overthrow the 1% of meta sheep. It is time for the Yugi tubers to own the means of production, which in this case is Extravagance and Appaloosa. Excited to get going, and I will see you on the other side. All right, it's been one round. I picked up my first game, which was critical to our success. I'm just kidding, everyone else was winning as well. I made Dark Law turn 1 against my Lunalight opponent, and they scooped. And then game 2, they set up an unbreakable board, but my hand was 3 heroes and a polymerization, and I rode that Trinity all the way to victory. Very happy that I ended up including that last minute, and now we have to run to game 2 because they announced it before I started this video. Bye. All right, so we just finished round 2. I played against Gren Maju. Game 1, I got completely blown out by Lightning Storm, evenly matched. Game 2, I think he bricked. Game 3, I go Dark Law, Plasma, Dystopia, and he had the Super Poly, but it wasn't enough. Plasma got me there. It was like a scenario where I go like Plasma with a guy equipped attack for a lot, Mask change into Dark Law attack. He let it through because it wasn't lethal, and I go, Honestinios. Great game. We're about to start round 3 at X-0. Here are the boys. Both of which who have won all of their games today. No one has dropped a single game, we won't for the rest of the time, and I'm telling the truth. Bye. All right, so we just picked up game 3 against Salamangreat, and I feel really bad because I played like garbage. It was a 2-1, I won games 2 and 3. Game 1, he sets up with a Rage. I normal Stratos, this is my only play. The hand has 2 mask changes in it. He goes, okay, I'll activate Rage, and I go, you fool, you absolute idiot, mask change. And he chains a removal spell, and I go, second mask change. And I'm like, now I'm gonna get to resolve Blast. Now I'm gonna get to resolve Stratos to pop. Now I'm gonna be able to pop off. And then I go, wait, which of the Rage effects did you activate? And he goes, oh no, the one where I target my own monster. And I go, oh. And so we lost that game. And then game 2 and 3 we picked up. Happens, you know, it's this has a lot of free wins everywhere, and going first against Salamangreat is one of them. He bricked game 3 into Scythe Sanctum, and I popped them both with Stratos, giving him the Scythe, and eating one of my monsters, but we won anyway. It was like, also I had Mask Change, and I could just make Malicious and like go into Dark Law on his turn, which is unbeatable. So hoping that the wheels keep rolling. Gage and Alex picked up theirs as well, so as long as we can keep this momentum, we can do it. All right, guys, round 4 just ended, and I have bad news about the momentum. We lost our first one, and there's only 7 rounds today. To get into top 64, we're gonna have to go X-1-1, and it was almost a tie. We were so close to picking up the tie, but we didn't. Here's what happened. I played against Guru. Obviously, I know what Guru does. And my opponent, I think, was kind of new to the deck, but was clearly a very good player. Like, he knew what to be negating, how to be managing effects. It was just a question of, like, intricacies of card text. I bricked game 1, he blew me out. You know, if you brick against Guru, that's it, because, like, your plays that get you back in the game are going to be really high investment, and of course they always have negation. Game 2, I won through There Can Be Only One, and Super Poly, and then game 3, we were getting in with like 5 minutes remaining because game 1 took like 25 minutes because Guru can't close out games, it just takes forever. So I end up getting into a scenario where I'm like, okay, my hand's good enough that I can make a poppable Dystopia over Dystopia plus Plasma, provided what I do is exactly get Celestial. So I get Celestial, I burn him for 16, and I'm like, we did it. You know, there's 3 minutes left. What is Guru gonna do? Untaps, draws, Hidden City, I Dystopia the Hidden City. He goes, all right, battle phase. And I'm like, what, are you gonna evenly match me? He goes, Super Poly. Eats all of my board except for a Stratos, which doesn't fit any of the conditions. So he goes into one of the Predaplants. Stratos was normal summoned. He attacks over it, but it doesn't do more than 16. And I walk with the game, turn to my left. Cimo lost 20 minutes ago, and Gage is still in game 1. So you know, it happens. We ended up losing, and it's rough. But as you may know, if you've already watched Nyhmnim's video, the individual who does the best is getting their meal comped tonight, so thumbs up for that, even if we eat shit. So we're back after round 5, and we won. Some stuff happened. You know, we all sat down. We had great games. You were playing against Altergeist. I was playing against dinosaur with like Paleozoics, sweet deck.
I got shafted by Noids because that's like objectively one of this deck's worst matchups imaginable.
You got 2-0'd really
I got
quick.
2-0'd in like 10 minutes. It was awful.
Yeah, but it was kind of a mess because my opponent and I, we got this long time extension over a really stupid, meaningless ruling.
And you got deck checked.
I got deck checked in the middle.
30-minute deck check. So we finish, we sign the slips, we pick up, so we win the match, and then a judge comes over and says, hey, you're sitting in the wrong spots. And we were like, are we? And they're like, you've lost the match now.
Yeah, they said double match loss. But the thing is, we had a floor judge come over earlier in the match when I was getting deck checked, and he said, you guys are in the wrong seats, but it's okay. So just fix it next match. And I was like, all right, no big deal.
That's very kind of
And then
you.
afterwards, we get that judge and he says, nah, double match loss, dude. And I'm like, ooh, no, that's an appeal, baby. Roll them up, set them up, let's play.
They appealed. I jammed some speed duels. Alex went to the bathroom. Gage is just like steaming because about
You were ready to
I was not happy, dude. I pulverized that Ultra
Oh,
player.
pulverized. Oh, open
I
red
just-
reboot is
All right,
pulverized.
Game 1 was a blowout too. I earned that game, man. I've been doing shitty all day, and the one time it matters, it's gonna be lose on a technicality. I was so bad.
That is true.
The important
That
part
is
is we're
true.
still live. See you next round. All right, we finished round 6. I picked up once again, and my terrible teammates lost. Gage because he was playing against Stun, Fun Deck, Interactive, and Cimo because he got 2 procedural errors. 1 because his opponent heated his Phoenix last game and forgot to give it back, and 2 because he resolved Phantasme under Droll, which caused an irreparable game state. So we're X2 after 6. Hopefully we can make it and get to day 2. Bye. Well, we're back. We didn't make it, folks. We went X3 and 7. The wheels kind of fell off the last round.
Not for you.
No, not for this guy.
Not true. I made it to game 3, but it was not it was up in the air as to who was going to win. It was a Prank Kids player, and I lost game 1 because they resolved mine, and I don't have a good main deck out. And then I look over to my left, and the two of you are like 10 million IQ points deep in this like Orcust invoke shit.
Because I was already out, by the way. I lost before that was even like happening. But
The good news is, though, we found this little quaint skater establishment, Californian skate core Mexican place, and it's great. It's really good. So we're gonna eat enough tacos that we can remember how sad it is that we lost, and then tomorrow we're gonna win Attack of the Giant card. So it's the end of Sunday, as you can probably see by the lack of giant card behind me. We were not successful. Unfortunately, we were kind of forced to use these speed duel decks that I put together a couple of months ago. We weren't able to find the Parasite Paranoid skill in time, and as a result we just got housed by Perfectly Ultimate Greatmoth, all individually in our first round of play. However, there were some very, very intelligent individuals playing speed duels, top minds of the speed duel community, who were kind enough to give me profiles, which will either be out on the channel before or almost immediately after this vlog. All in all, I had an absolutely unbelievable time here. Shouts out to Gage and Alex for being the best teammates I could have ever hoped for. Shouts out to all the individuals who came by and said hi. I really appreciate your presence, and I would truly do anything for you. And finally, thank you to Konami for keeping all parts of Hero legal in a completely cynical attempt to sell product. I personally really appreciate it.
Ah, hello, trust me, you can dance shirt. The last time I saw you, I was a different man. But today, I will trust no longer.